So the 2021 underground has birthed artists like Ken Carson, Yeat, and Sofaygo and more, and which have either made their way into the mainstream, and while others have failed to escape the underground. And as the underground scene has been evolving these past few years, many fans still miss this era. But let's take a look at some of the most prominent artists of this era and the current state of their careers. And first of all, looking at Ken Carson, arguably the best artist that came out of this class, and what separates Ken from everyone else from this whole 2021 underground era is the amount of connections this man Ken made when he was a freaking jit. This motherfucker was like 13 years old in the studio with like fucking Travis Scott, and he already had family ties with big names in the industry. Like, I do believe Southside is his uncle, if I'm not wrong. So he obviously had connections to many artists, which did lead him to meeting Cardi in 2017 and being the first artist to being signed in 2020 to Opium. And this was around the time that Ken was really making a name for himself, dropping Boy, Barbie, and Teen X. Teen X still has some of the most popular Ken songs to this day, like Yo Bro, that shit still gets thousands of plays each day. And seeing the evolution of Ken from this point being in that whole Teen X, Project X era, and to now being in the whole A Great Chaos era is actually insane. But a lot of motherfuckers, and I'm looking at y'all new gen fans, don't talk about the insane run that Ken had back in 2021. And he was really on his come up, dropping arguably the best album that year in the underground, that being Project X. And this album was really ahead of its time, man. And it definitely got me more tapped into the whole 2021 underground wave. And looking at Ken now, he's selling out shows to 10,000 people and is day by day becoming bigger and bigger with his new album More Chaos dropping soon. I would definitely say Ken for sure escaped the 2021 underground, but another artist who was working closely with Ken Carson back in 2021 is none other than Sofaygo. And now many people say Sofaygo's peak was in 2021, but in terms of dropping music, 2021 was the year that Sofaygo did get signed to Cactus Jack, and bro probably dropped like only 2 songs that whole year. I'd say peak Sofaygo hype was probably 2020, because this was when he started gaining hella buzz and was just dropping project after project. But many people wouldn't start knowing who Faygo was till like summer of 2021, and that was when Knock Knock, which did drop back in 2019, was fucking blowing up on TikTok. I remember having online school and then being on summer break and just blasting that song, bro, and it really got Faygo in the conversation for being up next, which this term up next still haunts Faygo to this day, as he still has not found his big breakthrough as an artist. And y'all probably heard the whole Sofaygo story thousands of times on YouTube, and where bro basically waited too long to drop his debut album, that being Pink Hearts, and that shit dropped eventually after all the hype died down and it sold pretty low numbers. And Faygo not dropping music consistently still haunts him to this day, as a lot of fans gave up on Sofaygo because he simply just doesn't drop music. And fans either blame his management or they blame Cactus Jack. In my opinion, Faygo can still be mainstream again, and he's obviously signed by the biggest artists in the whole world. If he ever gets a Travis Scott feature, I can genuinely see him making his big breakthrough, but now it's not looking too good, bro. And currently fans are waiting for his new album, that being War 2, which, judging how insanely inconsistent Faygo has been, I doubt that shit's dropping anytime soon, bro. But another artist who came up with Sofaygo during this whole wave is none other than SSG Kobe. And now Kobe is definitely my favorite from this era, and he would first gain buzz in 2019 to 2020 with songs like FNF and What Are You Doing. And he really brought this fresh new melodic sound, like that yeah and that hey hey hey. That shit was so fucking fire, bro. And he would also be working a lot with Sofaygo in like 2020, and they both drop heat because both of them are like so damn talented. And it sucks that, and we probably and will never be able to hear a collab between the fucking two artists ever again. But like Faygo, Kobe was on an insane run in 2021, dropping hit after hit like Thrax, Calabasas, MIA. And if these songs weren't in your freaking rotation in the summer of 2021, bro, y'all weren't tapped in. And he was working with guys like Zach Bia, and I actually thought that he was definitely up next, as he was also working with some other big artists like Trippy and Snot. But towards 2022, he would just stop dropping that much. I remember everyone was waiting for his album Euphoria, but that shit just didn't end up dropping. And the music that he did end up dropping at that time sounded completely different to what he was dropping back in 2020. And the hype kind of died down for him. But unfortunately, later that year, he would get hit with the worst possible allegations for any artist. And what sucks is that he wasn't even proven guilty at all. And he was only like, you know, 19 when he did get hit with these like allegations in the first place. And even worse, he waited months to finally address the allegations, and that being on fucking Discord and a goddamn Bob Lamb stream. And also did get dropped by his label as well. As of late, Kobe has been dropping music, trying to make a like, you know, comeback. I do definitely mess with his new songs that he has been dropping. Like for example, that song he dropped earlier this year being Hellcat Freestyle. That shit was definitely fire, but it just doesn't sound the same to that OG 2020 Kobe sound. It's honestly crazy how Kobe was set to be the next big thing, but yeah man, I'm praying bro does indeed make a freaking comeback, and I do definitely wish him the best for sure. And another artist that I do want to talk about is CashDami. Now Dami in my opinion is super underrated, and he would first gain buzz in 2020 alongside Santana, dropping that song 14, which was freaking huge. But in 2021 he was dropping hits like freaking Reparations, Public, and a lot of his hit songs were like a minute long, which is actually kind of crazy. And now I first tapped into Dami when he actually did drop his album Epiphany. This was a staple underground 2021 album having features like Kobe, Tana, Chris, and he really built a super strong fan base. I remember, and he like, you know, did drop the album Hypernova as well, which did have that song with Trippy, which was fucking peak. But as the years progressed, Dami started to switch his sound from what he used to put out back in 2021. And then in 2023, bro completely disappeared and didn't drop a single album. And he would then come back this year dropping his album Oasis, which, yeah, my guy Duty's reaction perfectly sums up that album.
Bro, I'm blocking this nigga, bro. On God, bro. I don't give a fuck. I don't care who he is, bro.
And he dropped this one song back in June called Love My Glock. That shit is so tough. Definitely best Dami song I've heard in a minute. And he also just dropped his new album called Infinity, which is definitely fire as well. And Dami indeed listened to what the fans wanted, bring back his old sound. And bro's only 19, so he has so much time to make a big breakthrough into the mainstream. And now an artist that has escaped the 2021 underground is Yeat. Now Yeat is definitely one of the most prominent figures in the 2021 underground, being the biggest artist out of this class, working with huge mainstream artists like Don Toliver, Drake, and many more. And now Yeat became independent in 2021 after like, you know, being signed prior to this, and bro is dropping an insane amount of music in 2021, something that Sofaygo should have done, but yeah man, that definitely sucks for sure. Like Sofaygo, Yeat really took advantage of TikTok, having songs like Get Busy and Sorry About That blowing up, and he would drop Up To Me that same year, and then next year 2022 he actually would officially be on the Billboard, be on the Euphoria soundtrack, make music with Uzi, and it was all in all really looking up for Yeat. And since then Yeat has been blowing up, and as of late Yeat did drop his album 2093 earlier this year, and he has been teasing his new album Lifestyle, which I'm definitely hyped for sure. So yeah man, easily Ken and Yeat are the biggest out of this wave, and they still are relevant, no question. And speaking of being relevant, last but not least, let's take a look at Tana, but at the time of the 2021 underground known as Baby Santana. And now this too, Tana started to blow up in like 2020, and when like, you know, bro was in the like fucking 9th grade, and me and Tana are both the same age, which is actually mad. And he would first gain buzz in 2020 dropping the song 14 with CashDami, which would blow up like crazy, even getting a lyrical Lemonade video, which actually was a pretty common theme for the 2021 underground artists, as Tana, Kobe, Yeat, and Sofaygo all got lyrical Lemonade videos. But it wasn't until bro dropped Antisocial in 2021 with Slum Success, and when bro would actually explode in popularity, and it's still his most popular song, which is actually insane. I remember when bro dropped Antisocial 2 and like, you know, had like Phase and Kobe on that shit, bro. That shit was so tough. But Tana would also start working with Tekka, eventually leading him to being signed to Tekka. But since 2021 to 2022, obviously like, you know, Tana hasn't had that big hit, but he still remained pretty relevant, dropping, in my opinion, the best music he's ever made now in his freaking career. For example, that album that he like, you know, did drop this year, Banna, that shit has no misses. Tana's evolution as an artist is actually insane, and although he's still underground, I can definitely see him being mainstream in a few years. And obviously, and there is a lot more artists that actually like, you know, could have covered in this freaking video, like Young Chris, Lone, Summers, Autumn, but comment down below if y'all do want a part 2. But hey man, love y'all. It's been a Ram Chan. We out. Bye.
She not for the streets, only one I need, yeah, that's my babe, in a foreign race, in a foreign eye.